To meet former NASA engineer Dr. Sarag Saikia, who has returned to Assam and is all set to revolutionize the radar industry in India. Dr. Saikia is a spacecraft engineer who completed his PhD in the United States, had worked with NASA for a substantial period of time. But Advantage Assam 2.0 reckoned this son of the soil to return and set up a Radome manufacturing unit at an initial cost of rupees 100 crores. Let's listen in to Dr. Sarag Saikia, who has signed an MOU at Advantage Assam 2.0 to set up a Radome manufacturing unit in Assam.
We are joined in by a spacecraft engineer, Dr. Sarag Saikia, who had studied in US, done his PhD in US, and was associated with NASA for a long time. But he made up his mind to come back to India and work here. Can you please brief us about why you went to US and why you had made up your mind to come to India?
Sure. Thank you for having me. So I'm Dr. Saikia, originally from Lakhimpur, and then studied in Guwahati, 11 and 12. Then I went to Nagpur, and from there I went to US. Did my master's PhD. So as a kid, while in Lakhimpur, there were very less electricity, fewer hours, so night sky used to be very clean, and we used to see stars. So probably that had a long-lasting mark in my mind. I really was drawn to space in many ways. So that I had in mind. I had the opportunity that I built around 2008 when I went to US. So from IIT, I got admission into some of the top schools in the US, so including Purdue University. So Purdue is called the cradle of astronauts. So because apart from US military, Purdue has the world's highest number of astronauts who were Purdue students. So like Neil Armstrong is from my senior, from my department. So many Apollo astronauts who went to the moon were my seniors. Then I also had the opportunity to work with Dr. Buzz Aldrin, who happens to be the second person to land on the moon. So these were the reasons that I was very, very much interested in space exploration, that naturally for space exploration, US is the best place to go. So that took me to the US.
And what are you specialized in right now? What are you manufacturing?
Sure. Mm-hmm. So first of all, I am a really hardcore engineer. So in the US, I worked on spacecraft design, so spacecraft engineering, and then trajectory design. We call it astrodynamics. So we call it astronautical engineering. That is where I did my PhD. We quickly learned after interacting with a lot of people like Air Marshal, Air Chief Marshal, or the Chief of the Air Staff, Rakesh Kumar Singh Bhadoria I met, and there are so many other mentors. I used to know General Rawat very personally. When I met, I realized and learned a lot of problems our country is facing in terms of supply of technology to armed forces. So I started working on a few of them, and Radome being one of the key areas where I saw there was no solution within India, right? So we are importing everything, and we are losing a lot on foreign exchanges. So these are the reasons we took that as a challenge. How a Radome is done is not known in India. What materials are used is known in India. So it is actually the manufacturing process that set us apart than in all the other entities, including DRDO. They have been trying to do that, but we are working with DRDO labs for different kinds of Radome requirements already, and we are already supplying to them.
So what is Radome, and you are the only manufacturer of Radome in India?
So I will come back to what is a Radome. No, I am not necessarily the only one in India, but yes, I am the only one as we know in private sector in India that can do airborne Radome. So we are the only one. No other company we know of are trying. It's because it's an extremely complicated piece of technology. Now, what is a Radome? So Radome is a combination of two words called radar and a dome. So every aircraft, or most aircraft, including fighter, will carry a radar. And radar is an important piece of equipment inside a fighter jet, because without that, the fighter jet has no meaning. A radome is a cover for that radar that protects the radar while you are flying.
So are Radomes very costly, and which are the countries that are the suppliers right now?
America makes it. General Dynamic makes Radome. Then in UK, a company called Covum makes Radome. In fact, in India, we buy from Covum. And then we have companies in France that they give Radome. So it's really a handful of countries that actually have their technology. So you can, from there, you can just gauge that, it's such a critical piece of technology many countries have not been able to master.
And the cost of each Radome?
Right. So the cost can vary. So let us consider the airborne Radome. It depends on the size. So Tejas is a very small aircraft compared to Sukhoi. So a Tejas Radome size is 6 times smaller in surface area than Su-30 Radome. So a Tejas can cost, anything from 1.5 CR to 2.5 CR being crore. And a Su-30 Radome is 6 times larger than Tejas, so you can just multiply it by 6. So you can, anything from 6 to 12 CR it will cost.
And what brings you to Advantage Assam 2.0?
Well, the only reason I think I am an Assamese, so that's the only big driver I have. The policy issues are there, and I believe, as I mentioned actually in the panel discussion earlier today, that I rely that on the state government, Honorable Chief Minister and his team to make sure that all the right policies are in place for me to succeed. And if I succeed, the state succeed and the country succeed as well. So one attraction is, we need the dynamism as shown by Honorable Chief Minister, with the added advantage that we have a very dynamic Prime Minister at the center. So as Prime Minister Modi was saying yesterday, it's a double engine thing. So that is very important to realize this kind of technology. Otherwise it cannot be done. I alone cannot do it. I need the support of everyone to make this happen.
So you have plans to set up a Radome manufacturing unit here in Assam.
Right, that's true. We have signed a MOU with the government of Assam. We have committed a total investment of 100 crore. At the same time, we are also expecting some incentives. Otherwise, we cannot become competitive. If I were to use, the Bangalore facility to make it. So we want to make it in Assam, but also the policies have to be in place. It will be world's one of the most advanced composite manufacturing facilities. So if we can do Radome, then we can do many other structures for aircraft and other advanced equipments using the same facility.
So when the Radome manufacturing unit comes up in Assam, so it is going to be the only manufacturing hub of Radome in India, and you will be the supplier all across the country. And how much it would be cost effective? I mean, as you have mentioned that importing such things from foreign nations cost a lot. So how much will it come down?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good question. And as I have mentioned, the facility will be really one of its kind in India. There are other composite manufacturing facility and they're built to print. So someone gives a design and they print. Now, Radome cannot be made like that. If someone gives you a design, you are the manufacturer, the results are never the same. It's always a poor quality Radome that comes out. So Radome is, technology is one thing, the manufacturing process and art is probably the majority of the work. Right, and at the same time, you are asking about the cost effectiveness. My personal projection based on engineering, knowledge and the projection of all the upcoming projects, we are talking about savings from 4,000 to 6,000 crore in the next 5 years. We'll save, in export, in foreign exchange, in import, if we are to import this Radomes from other countries.